In this video, I'm going to show you 3 cold email templates we have used to generate over $1.2 million in the past 2 years. And I've now spoken to thousands of founders at this point, and there's one big thing that several of them have in common. Most of them fail at cold email because their copy is bad. And I'm making this video so you won't be one of them. Why should you listen to me? We've worked with over 200 B2B consultants and agency owners, and we help them build cold outreach funnels. And for our own funnel right now, we're booking over 100 calls with complete strangers each week. And I'll save the most effective template for the end because it will be the grand finale, and you'll help me win in the YouTube algorithm if you keep watching. So let's go. Type 1 is a straight up offer. What I mean by that is that it's an offer that specifies your overall promise to the prospect. There's no free stuff, no introductory, get to know each other offer. No, it's the main thing that you do straight up. And I'll show you an example first, and then we'll discuss why it works and in what situation it makes sense. Full disclosure, this is not the actual email that we've been sending. Actual winning cold emails are actually really valuable because the more people use them, the less effective they become. So we keep the real winners for our paying clients. If you want to become that, there's a link in the description. So I've changed a couple of aspects of the emails, but most importantly, I haven't changed the spirit of it and why it works and what you can take away from it. Okay. It's a different offer to a different niche, but the turns of phrase, the psychological triggers and the offer are very similar. So I've kept easily around 85 to 90% of the words the same. Okay. So here's the email. Hey, first name, I noticed company has been growing fast based on the 20% year-on-year growth I'm seeing on LinkedIn. Congratulations. It's a little bit of personalization there. An effective AI system could help companies client-facing team spend more time building relationships and less on doing admin and clerical work. 50% more time spent talking to clients and partners without sacrificing quality or adding headcount. Can we schedule a chat so I can walk you through 3 ways AI is helping law firms generate more business? All the best, Ellie. P.S. We were able to save Acme's 55 attorneys and average 6 hours a week per person. Okay, so this is an email that ticks the following boxes. First of all, it's relatively short. It's not the shortest. Of course, there's much shorter than that, but it's pretty okay. I've seen super long emails. They were like one page in Google Docs. Then second, it addresses a pain point that the target, that the recipient is familiar with, right? Admin and clerical work for highly paid attorneys. It also taps into AI, which is, of course, is very big right now, but in a no BS concrete way, right? It's a concrete application of the technology to provide a tangible, specific benefit. That's the way to do it. It's much harder to make generally AI strategy or generally anything that has to do with strategy to sell that via cold email, right? This is a very hands-on specific value promise. And also number 4, it gives a concrete ballpark figure that meaningfully moves an important metric, 50% more time spending with interfacing with clients, right? And that brings 2 benefits. First of all, you put dollar signs in their eyes because if they know client staff will spend more time interfacing with the client, it means more money. That's clear. And you also show them that you know their world and what matters to them. Now, in this case, it's relatively basic, right? But still, you are demonstrating that you think about the problem from their point of view and what their goals are. And then finally, it provides social proof. There's a PS that mentions the success story. Now, let's look at, very importantly, when does pitching a straight up offer works? It works when it's niche down, you have credibility in this niche, and the solution is easy to grasp and explain. Narrow problem, narrow niche, narrow solution. So this is all about being narrow. Competition is relatively low for this, right? So you're not in lead gen or increasingly not in AI unless hyper niched, right? So if competition is relatively low, if it's such a specified niche offering, narrow problem, narrow solution, then you simply are not having a ton of competition there. And then you win crucially on the concept that people see the email and say, well, they've helped people exactly like me, right? They are part of my tribe, and that's why they will end up working with you. Okay, that is super key. And those are the areas where people really think they are very much for me. Then you can sort of get away with sending the main offer as the email. In other situations, you have to be a little bit more generous. You have to give away free stuff so that people respond. The pain is very obvious, right? Everybody hates it when their high-paid staff are doing clerical work, but they don't fully know how to fix that. They're already problem aware. And ideally, the problem-solution dichotomy is, I want to say, somewhat original and non-obvious, but it also shouldn't be too obscure or out there, right? But you can almost imagine this person who receives the email lawyers and similar niches, they are not very technically savvy. And so they sometimes may wonder, okay, well, AI is going to come and take our jobs, but they don't really see AI, or sometimes they might not see AI as a real opportunity. And there, if somebody comes who seems to understand their world and gives them an offer for a concrete application of AI that's like, yeah, makes a lot of sense. It's not crazy original. Oh my God, I never thought about this. It's not that way. But it is still reasonably original where they think, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, I thought of it, but now I have somebody making me this offer. So I'm going to bite. And also your offer has a clear before and after. In this case, of course, the 50% more time spent interfacing with clients. Now, straight up offers don't work as well in most broad and mainstream niches. Like if you do Facebook ads for realtors or you do supply chain consulting for SME manufacturers, there it's better to use one of the next two cold email formulas that we'll look at next. So type 2 is a so-called hand raiser offer. What's a hand raiser? Asking people to indicate their interest in order to receive more information. And then you can send them a more personalized approach because they've sort of raised their hand. They said, yep, I'm actually in the market for this kind of stuff. Send me your offer. Now, this is perfect for complex consulting offers and things that require explanation and education. Although as a rule, you should try to avoid that in cold email. It's better to sell to existing pain points with reasonably well-known solution, right? So it's a tricky one, but sometimes it can work, especially if the pain point is pretty strong. It's also very good for more mainstream offers where a unique method can be claimed. So the unique method is then contained in the more info part, or anything where the best next step is not a call instantly. Okay. So in that case, they ask for more info, you send it to them, and the sales call is then the next step. This is also a great way to quickly separate the wheat from the chaff in more mainstream offers. For example, one of the methods that works very well for us is where my virtual assistant approaches people on LinkedIn on my behalf, asks them if they want to get more clients, and offers that the CEO, i.e. me, will send them a short personalized video explaining how we would do it. And then at the end of the week, I record 20 such videos and book 2 to 3 sales calls. The key for the more information part is don't send a PDF. It's much better to send a short Loom video. The benefit is that you can, first of all, track it if they've watched it and how much of it. It's also personalized, which automatically 5 to 10x the reply rate. And yes, of course, it means that you have to personalize it yourself. Just don't use an AI avatar or anything like that. It's just people see through it and then they sort of resent you. Because what does it mean when you are actually creating an AI avatar and send it to them? It means you're trying to pull the wool over their eyes. That's effectively what it means, because it's like you there speaking to them, pretending that it's you, but it's not you. So you've consciously chosen this thing, this AI thing, to talk to them. And I think people are absolutely accepting of AI if you use it as a preparation for something. Let's say you want to write a document, you write an email, so you then let AI draft it. But then you have to apply the human element. I think this is where AI is totally acceptable as long as the human element is there. If you just send an avatar of yours, a video avatar, then that humanity is gone. And I, for one, I just don't take that seriously when somebody sends me an AI avatar. Also, another benefit of Looms is that you can get far more of their attention, and you can also direct their attention, right? With a PDF, they just skim read whatever they want. They're just going to skip around. Let me get to the pricing, right? With a video, unless they crazily jump around inside the video, which few people do, you can decide which parts of the message they consume first. You can tell a story. You can get them emotionally invested. And unless it's written by a true master copywriter that really captures the attention, a PDF won't accomplish that. People just automatically, if they just see how long is this document, it scrolls up and down. And so you cannot really direct people's attention if you send a PDF. Send a Loom. Okay, let's take a look at an example. Hi, George. As company name grows, more teams, more products, more projects, productive change becomes ever more difficult. This happens because the organizational structure was not designed for the current levels of complexity. Most business leaders accept it as the inevitable byproduct of growth and make their peace with it. But this is a false choice. We propose a better model, an organizational system modeled after the human brain, which famously gets better with complexity. Crazy idea, but it works incredibly well in practice. The result with one of our recent clients, also in prospects industry, 550 employees. We were able to slash their time to market by 50% within 4 weeks. Can I send you a 5-minute video to explain how it works in practice? Name. So this is a classic case of a cold email that triggers intrigue and curiosity paired with social proof, addressing a common problem that bothers them every day. And so this is one of those classic consulting offers where you've come up with a unique method. You wanna sort of hint at it. It triggers curiosity, but it doesn't give away everything. And by people responding, yeah, sure, send me more, you are now seeing, they are in the market for it. So for these type of situations, complex offers, more mainstream offers where your unique method can be claimed, or anything where the best next step is not a call instantly, this is where you use the hand raiser. All right, let's get into type 3, free giveaway, decoy offer. This is our most successful campaign style as it consistently books us more than 100 calls a week. The principle is very simple. Give away something valuable that your prospect actually wants. There are 2 variants of this. Number 1, something is objectively valuable, independent of who you are. For example, one of our most successful campaigns is where we give away free leads. We compile a list of leads based on demographic data, and we offer it to people in our target market. Another one of our clients sends a customized list of 50 to 100 investors who invest in similar startups as the target, right? And he sells to startups. Both things are objectively valuable, right? Having a list of leads or having a list of investors is useful, and especially if you say we're going to tailor it to what you want. Okay, so that was variant 1, something objectively valuable. The other one is something where you, number 1, you have credibility, and number 2, you will provide free work in. So simply you tell them, hey, if you have problem X, I will do valuable work Y for you for free. You don't have to do anything. And if you like it, we can then discuss the commercial aspect of it afterwards. What is not a good free giveaway is the good old audit or assessment. Okay, we'll audit your sales process and give you a free 10-step improvement plan. That was already hard to pitch in pre-AI times, but now where anybody can churn out a pretty, very highly coherent 5 to 10 page step-by-step PDF in a matter of seconds, it's even harder, right? I mean, people see through it. They know it's basically a sales pitch in disguise. And audits are especially useless in cases where there's a big status disparity between the cold emailer and the prospect. Like the other day, I met a solopreneur without a track record in a specific area, and he, in all seriousness, wanted to provide free audits in this area of his for companies with 100 employees or more. I mean, which 100-person company will actually take some rando who does not have a success story to his name and have him conduct an audit of their whatever sales process, recruitment process? Crazy, right? Now, again, there are exceptions to this rule if you're famous or have crazy niche specialization, and the audit is in a very narrow area, then you might have a shot. For example, let's say you've been focusing on database reactivation for luxury clinics, sort of high-end clinics, and you have a small agency with a massive track record. You actually then can approach luxury clinics and offer them a database reactivation audit. But at this point, you might as well offer a rev share only database reactivation exercise for them, right? So sometimes when you're able to do an audit, you can also offer right away a free giveaway in the form of, hey, let's do something valuable together. I will either work for free or you only pay me on the results. Might as well do that, okay? Also, that kind of database reactivation exercise would also be free upfront. There's no risk for the client, and you will get more takers. So the actual audit can then come as the first step. Here's an example. Hi, name. We help companies like company expand into European markets. Could my team send over a list of 30 to 50 wholesalers in Germany, France, or UK, and the contact details of their heads of purchasing, the kind of people that company usually sells to? Complementary, of course. We can target by series stage, size, location, keywords, or even intent signals like tech usage. No catch, just reply and we'll get that list created for you. Best wishes, send a name, company name. Another giveaway, which is very powerful, is something where you give away work for free, especially if it's also objectively valuable. Any form of lead gen can be sold this way. You can just say that the first 1 or 2 sales calls that you book for the client will be free of charge. And you'd only then discuss the commercial terms with them. Another great giveaway is something that I heard from a consultant, and I posted about this on LinkedIn recently. I'm just going to read it out in its entirety because it's such a smart giveaway. B2B consultant who helps executives fix their people issues, he offers this as a kickoff project to the CEO. I will interview your top 10 to 20 people. They will tell me what their biggest issues are. Warning, they might criticize you. I will offer them to do so anonymously. I will then compile these findings in a report to you, and this consultant then does this for free. It takes him 10 hours. And so far, every single company he did this for has become a multi-5-figure, often a 6-figure client, which is a total no-brainer investment. Even if he only converted every fifth of those people, it would still be worthwhile, because if it's a 6-figure client, okay, yes, he has to spend 50 hours. But the great benefit in his case was also he was compiling all this info into a book, right, that he was writing. So even just interviewing people in a company was valuable fodder for him being something of a journalist, or in this case, a book author, right? So it is still useful for him, even if they didn't buy up to a point. So it was a crazy good offer. I loved it. Not only because, of course, he then gets to know the company and can then bring up whatever is ailing them and use that as leverage to get the pitch right, but also he will be biasing the people who say yes to this. Let's say a CEO who's willing to be criticized. Well, it's perfect, because this kind of person is obviously somebody who is open to suggestions to do things better. And so that's why this is such a killer and winner offer. Now, heads up, of course, because giveaways are very powerful, but they do create a problem. You'll get a ton of people who want the free thing, but they don't want to buy. So you need a simple disqualification process. Our process at high volume is: step 1, somebody replies, we call them immediately. Step 2, we ask on this call, do you just want the freebie, or do you also want to talk about booking sales calls with us? We can help you with that. Then step 3, the freebie only people get a form where they input the details of what they want, and the buyers, the people who are willing to, who are interested about helping them book sales calls for them, they get booked on a call. Okay, so we just simply polarize them. We just ask them straight up, do you just want the leads? And if they just want the leads, they get the leads, and we don't get them on a call. Now, if your giveaway costs money, you of course have to be able to afford it, right? People understand that you won't offer free labor to everyone who raises their hand. So with free labor, it's okay to tie the delivery to the precondition that the prospect will be a fit, right? So what do I mean by that? You'll just simply spray and pray your target market with a freebie giveaway offer, and then many different people will raise their hands. It's not like you have to give it to all of them, right? Even if you offer free labor, this is mostly an invitation towards a negotiation. It's an invitation to a convo. And so then you get them on a call, and then you can check whether they are a good fit with you, right? And also you can see how much in pain are they, how much are they willing to invest, etc. Is this a good fit for you to invest the free labor into? And they will of course understand if you determine not a good fit, we're not going to spend our time on you. Most people are professional enough to just ascertain that, and then they leave. Some people can get a little bit upset. You will always get that, but it's not a reasonable thing to be upset about. That is with free labor. Now, with something like free leads or a free sample, you're in a bit of a bind. You have to give it even to people who aren't a good fit, but who you happen to send the email to. Otherwise, it's a little bit like as if you are, let's say, in a supermarket, you're offering cheese cube samples, but before you hand the plates to them, you offer them the plate. You ask, wait, are you actually going to buy this cheese, buy this slab of cheese that we have here if I give you the sample? Right? That's not how it works. So the sample has to be given to everyone. And the great thing about free giveaways is that they are really safe to run and probably will always be effective, right? They're costly in time and money, but it's hard to imagine a future where you offer somebody a free sample of quality work and they will then decline to work with you. So good old reciprocity is as old as humanity itself, and free samples are always going to work. And of course, you can combine the hand raiser offer with free value, such as something where you offer them to compile something valuable. For example, let's say 2 weeks worth of LinkedIn content from their publicly available information. Now, finally, I want to give you a bit of a primer on what to send. Like if you're selling service X, then send cold email type Y. So number 1, if you're selling something mainstream that most people have either already tried a variant of and then let's say been burned from, or it didn't work for them, classic case being lead gen services, marketing services, etc., then the best thing to do is to give free stuff up front. Work for free for them, give them valuable stuff as a decoy offer, as a giveaway. Now, I would not recommend starting with a straight up offer like we will help you achieve goal X in Y months or you don't pay. There's a lot of that in the market already. And unless you have an insane amount of success stories, then it probably is not going to work. So if it's mainstream, give stuff for free. Number two, if you're selling a very narrow, very niche thing, you can do the straight up offer. There's not a lot of competition, but the onus on you having success stories is higher there. You gotta be the expert in this field. So don't do straight up offer if you are a newbie. The great thing about this is it reduces your time to cash and you don't need the additional cost of giving stuff away for free. So obviously we just want to send our offers to people and get takers, but if you give stuff away for free, that's better. Now, if you're selling something relatively exotic where people are pain aware but not problem or solution aware, then you're best served with a hand raiser offer, right? It's a complex, gnarly problem. They know they have it. It pains them, but they don't really know how to solve it. Maybe they tried in the past and you come up with a methodology that really solves it for them. And they're like, that sounds really compelling. I'm curious. I want to know more. Then the hand raiser offer is best. And finally, if you don't fit into either of these categories that I just described and you cannot decide between these three variants, honestly, just start with a giveaway. It's the safest bet and you don't have to do it forever. Use giveaways as a means to get surefire clients, build up your bank of success stories, and then you can do straight up offers. Cool. Here's some bonus advice for increasing your call booking rate. In all cases, also in the hand raiser and the free giveaway, you want to call the prospect as soon as they reply. And yes, that's on the phone. Often they reply with their phone number in the email footer, and you can call them right away. Other times you can find their phone number on LinkedIn using a tool like Signal Hire. Just Google that, you'll find it. And that runs on top of LinkedIn. You can even build a fancy automation that delivers the phone number automatically. You call them, you thank them for picking up, and you come up with one or two quick, friendly questions somebody in your position might ask, and then you offer them to book a proper call with you in the next 1 or 2 days. And if they don't pick up, you just send the calendar link that asks some of the same questions. Cool. So, couple of common rules for good cold email. Doesn't mean you have to follow all of them at all time, but the more you follow in each instance, the better. So number one, keep it short. The longer the email, the higher the chance you will trigger spam words or lose their attention. Number two, put social proof high. If you have proof, put it early, first line if possible. Also, what we've seen that works quite well is if it's in the PS. People somehow gravitate towards the PS, so they will take a look. Then number three, personalize smartly. I should have said smartly here. Don't do cringe personalizations like Go Ravens. Do relevant personalization like I saw you hiring an account manager in London, for example. Number four, speak to concrete business problems. Don't sell strategy. That's very important. Don't sell strategy, don't sell innovation. Concrete stuff wins. Also, mention the problem twice. 2 angles, same problem. It makes it feel real. If you kind of illuminate the problems from 2 angles, maybe one is the more rational annoyance with their pain points, the other one is a more emotional one. Always good to combine both of those. Then use numbers. Give 5,000 leads or 50% more hires or 10 hours. We give you back 10 hours a week, 30% output. Numbers win. Sometimes you will get people who scoff at, how do you know that you can get me 30% input? Those are not good people anyway to work with. You know, somebody who's like upset about a cold email, usually not going to be a good person. So just ignore them. Also, there should be one main idea. Don't try to cram 7 benefits into one email. Much better to send 7 different campaigns and see which benefit resonates most with people. Also, number 8, reduce their risk and effort. So just say, can I send a 2-minute video? Something super easy, super like low friction. If you tell them you're onboarding in an area where onboarding is usually days or weeks, you say onboarding takes just an hour. If you don't get X, you don't pay, etc. Right? Really reduce the friction, reduce the action threshold for them. Number 9, give a reason to act now, but don't fake scarcity. Real scarcity works. Fake scarcity kills trust. For example, if it's free leads or a curated list of something, then the only way how you can claim scarcity is if there's work to be done. Finally, number 10, avoid selling something where you need to educate your audience beforehand. We cover that. I just wanted to emphasize it. Cold email is a 5 to 10 second affair. Either you hook them in those 5 seconds or you're out doing the, did you know that your pain X might actually be caused by Y problem? Let me educate you about this. That is dead in the water in cold email. And by the way, you might have a counterexample. Maybe something has worked for you. Perfectly fine. In that case, leave it in the comments. I'd love to know. I love to be proven wrong. My statements in this area are usually born out of 95% certainty. It goes against the principles of the system. I cannot guarantee that it will never work, but why try it if it goes against kind of common sense, right? They are not invested. Sometimes people write these really dense and content heavy emails where you have to just, what is this guy saying? Like, you have zero status with them. So why should they read through something in order to find out, what does he actually try to sell me? What is he trying to tell me? Right? Keep things really, really simple. That's the number one thing. Keep those emails simple and ideally very short. Now, of course, as I said, you can, in the complex consulting offer, now mind you, in the hand raiser scenario, you can, of course, and it's perfectly fine, to get people to ask for more information, and then you can educate them. But don't try to educate them in the very first email. People will totally check out. Now, finally, how not to land in spam. There's spin tags and tools. Deliverability is, of course, very important in cold email. If you're sending high volume, you will need variation, because if you constantly send the same email, the deliverability gods will catch you and burn your email accounts in deliverability hell much faster. And that's where so-called spin tags comes in. What spin tags does is randomizes parts of the email so that there are differences in your emails each time you send them, allowing them not to be identical. So you generate a couple of spin tags versions, you read them out loud, and you remove anything that sounds weird. Spin tags is very simple. You just take the email that you've written, you will put it into your AI tool of choice, and you then ask it, please add spin tags to this cold email. It's that simple. Then you run your final email through spam checkers like Mail Meteor or Email Guard, and then you replace any words that trigger spam filters. And that's pretty much it. By the way, if you're a B2B consultant or agency owner and you're struggling to get clients, or you're not consistently booking appointments, there's a link in the description that I would invite you to click on. Full transparency, it is a funnel and is meant to sell you something. You, of course, don't have to click it at all, totally up to you. But if client acquisition or booking calls with complete strangers, stop dependency on referrals, if all of that is something that you're stuck on, feel free to check it out. And if you do, and if we end up working together, then you'll have access to 40 plus actual cold emails that have booked our clients sales calls with strangers, not the redacted, adjusted templates that I share here, but that's where you get to the real juice, and you will just be able to copy your way to success. This is usually how it works the best. You can simply copy past versions of emails and they're going to be working just as well. That's it for this video. If you found it useful, hit like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you want more content like this. And if you're interested in how you can find those leads, who you can send these cold emails to, I recently posted a video on how you can scrape 1,000 leads for $3. Go check it out.